Ideas. They're the thing that makes the world go around and helps us move forward as a species. But if you actually want to get stuff done, having a good idea is just the beginning. The hard part is actually making your idea work. That takes hard work, planning, dedication, and a bunch of other fancy words that only get used in motivational quotes and those weird YouTube ads where some 40-year-old going through a midlife crisis talks to me about Bitcoin and dropshipping while I frantically press the skip ad button, both of which are equally boring and make me want to gouge my eyes out. So it's no surprise that there's a lot of people with great ideas that somehow manage to fuck it all up and be called a failure by a kid in his room 700 years later, just like the guy in today's video. So without further ado, let's talk about the smartest idiot in Indian history, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the Sultan of India. Now you might think I'm just completely disrespecting this historical figure for YouTube content, and I am, but to find out how this lad got his reputation, we gotta start at the beginning. Muhammad was born sometime in 1290 to Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, the then Sultan of India. 35 years later, Ghiyasuddin died after the pavilion he was standing on collapsed. Not the most heroic way to go, but hey, it could have been a lot worse. Some say it's a conspiracy, but that's neither here nor there. What was very here and there was Muhammad, who was now the new Sultan of India. He ruled for around 26 years until his death in 1351, and he was actually pretty smart. He studied philosophy, maths, medicine, poetry, and a bunch of other stuff that definitely would have made my parents really proud of him. He was well educated, and the people of India had really high expectations for him. But judging by the fact that this video is on my channel and not super awesome kings that are really cool and that did great things for at people 123, you can probably tell how well that went. Now remember at the beginning how I was talking about people with great ideas who just can't make them work? Can you guess who I was talking about? Huh, yourself?
Yellow tape around his body.
No, although self-deprecation is very original and definitely not overused, I was actually talking about Muhammad. You see, Muhammad had a lot of ideas during his rule that were actually pretty decent, and the only thing that went wrong was their execution. The first of these ideas came to Muhammad in 1327. At the time, this was the map of his empire, and this was his capital. As you can see, it was pretty far away from most of his empire, which could easily lead to rebellions, uprisings, and the eventual breaking up of his territory. So Muhammad decided to move his capital from Delhi to Daulatbad. So in case any of his provinces start getting a little too rowdy, he can give them a reminder of why he's got the cool ass turban with pearls on it and they don't. Plus, Delhi was basically open to a Mongol invasion, so moving the capital down saved it from being attacked. Pretty good idea, right? That was until he actually made it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, your beloved king, here with an announcement. You are no longer allowed to live in this city. You will instead move to Daulatbad, about 1500 kilometers away, so that you can be safe from the Mongols. You're welcome. Any questions? This has to be a joke, right? I mean, you can't seriously expect us to live in a city 1500 kilometers away. Well, I am the king, so I seriously expect you to do whatever the fuck I want you to. But we've been living here our whole lives. We can't just move. Listen, all I'm asking you guys to do is abandon your current life, make a dangerous journey into a completely new location, and build your life up again from scratch. It's really not that hard. So how exactly are we supposed to travel 1500 kilometers? I'm glad you asked. Come on, keep it up. We've only got 1000 kilometers left. We've been walking for the past 6 hours. My feet are killing me. Well, if you stayed in Delhi, it'll be the Mongols that were killing you. So how about you stop complaining? Guys, he'll be fine. I think. Yep, Muhammad's big plan was to have an entire city of people abandon their lives and walk across an entire country so that they could be safe from invasions. The journey was, unsurprisingly, pretty dangerous, and a lot of people died on the way just from exhaustion. But in the end, they managed to do it, and Daulatbad became the new permanent capital. At last, the citizens could resume their peaceful lives. For a grand total of 8 years, because in 1335, Muhammad thought, hey, wait a minute, if I'm so far away from the north and an invasion happens, how am I supposed to protect the country? Which, I mean, was a pretty good question that he probably should have thought about before moving an entire city of people. So, he went back to the public and said, hey guys, how's it going? How's Daulatbad? You want to move back to Delhi? No, actually, it's pretty good here. Okay, but if you had the choice, you would move back to Delhi, right? Nah, I mean, we've all been living here for like 8 years now, so I'd say we're pretty much settled here. Yeah, but would you mind moving back to Delhi? Yeah, of course I would mind. I'm not gonna walk back 1500 kilometers. Why are you asking all these questions anyway? I mean, you're not gonna make us move back, are you? Yeah, about that. So Muhammad ordered everyone in Daulatbad to move back to Delhi, and that was the end of that. His second revolutionary idea came to him in 1330. At the time, all the coins in his kingdom were made up of gold or silver. But turns out, it wasn't the best idea to make the most widely available form of your currency out of the two rarest materials on earth. So, the kingdom started running out of coins pretty quickly. Muhammad then got the idea to introduce a token currency, which basically meant making coins out of a cheaper material, like copper, which had the same value as the gold ones. If that sounds familiar, that's pretty much the same thing we have now. So again, Muhammad had come up with another genius idea. I think we all know what comes next. The old gold coins had an intricate royal seal on them, which was very hard to copy, and their designs were heavily protected, so nobody could really make their own copies. The new coins, on the other hand, were basically a circle of metal with "these aren't worthless, just trust me lol" written on them. Which, I mean, if they're trying to design the thing that their entire society is built on, you'd think they'd put a little more creativity into it. The king's face, a fancy border, heck, I'd be fine with some numbers at least. But instead, all we get are public service announcements that anyone with half a brain could make copies of. Besides, the designs of the new coins weren't that well guarded, so anyone could just waltz in and be like, "Hey, can I take a look at those new coin designs you got?" "Yeah, sure, here they are." "Thanks. Aren't you supposed to guard these and not give them to anyone?" "Listen man, that guy up there made me walk 3000 kilometers back and forth for an experiment. Does it look like I give a shit about what he tells me to do?" And so, the designs of the coins were available to the public pretty quickly. And apparently, everyone in the 1300s were expert metal workers with an entire smeltery in their backyards, because they were making copies of the coins in no time. Soon, the entire kingdom was flooded with these fake coins. And historically speaking, printing new money has never led to anything good happening. Overnight, the coins became completely worthless, and Muhammad was forced to exchange all of his new coins for the old gold coins. Now the whole point of the new coins was to avoid making more gold coins, so this ended up costing Muhammad a whole bunch of money. Now after these two losses, Muhammad was running a little low on funds, and how else was he supposed to keep up his supply of fancy outfits? No, but seriously, replacing the coins of an entire country is apparently really expensive, and the kingdom would soon not even be able to afford its military, which, during a time where the empire was 2 days away from completely falling apart, was really important to have. Plus, a year ago, Muhammad gathered up an army of 3.7 million soldiers and paid them all 1 year in advance. What a nice guy. But he never actually did anything with them, so he basically wasted a bunch of money just so that a city's worth of people could just sit there, waiting. And so, Muhammad needed to get some money fast. So he came up with a plan to increase taxes for the people in this region, who were mostly farmers. Again, another great idea from the man himself. There's no way he could mess this up, right? I mean, it's literally just asking people for money. The only way this could go wrong is if God himself— "Hey, we haven't had a drought in a while, have we? Well, wouldn't hurt to do it now." Yep, just when he thought that Muhammad would finally succeed, nature itself abused its unholy powers to change the world's weather patterns just to make sure that it doesn't happen. The drought caused all the farmers in the region to lose a lot of their crops, which meant that they couldn't afford the new tax. This caused a lot of people to run out of money and quit their jobs, and Muhammad learned a valuable lesson, that the universe itself hates him and wants to see him fail. Now after these incidents, pretty much all the old kings whose kingdoms were taken over by Muhammad realized that he wasn't exactly in a position to stop any of them. Rebellions sprung up all over India, and by the time Muhammad died, his kingdom went from this to this. The empire would never actually recover from this, and Muhammad's rule marked the decline of the Delhi Sultanate. So in summary, Muhammad had a bunch of ideas but somehow fucked it all up, and indirectly might have caused the destruction of a 300-year-old empire. Moral of the story is, never do anything innovative in your life, or it will backfire on you and everyone will hate you and you'll die miserable and alone. So yeah, that was the story of Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the smartest idiot in Indian history. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, and watch another video by clicking right here. I'll see you guys later.